True gossip, where the truth and the gossip. That's a concept, it's not the complex. Keep your mindset on the truth and the gossip. It's not a contest, but a step in a process to get the truth and the gossip. From the house to the streets where the gossip meets the truth. It's not the complex. Keep your mindset on the truth and the gossip. It's not a contest. True gossip, where gossip meets truth.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Tanya Cole-Lennon, host, and welcome to Season 2, True Gossip, where gossip meets truth. I just want to say congratulations to our 46th President of the United States of America elect and our Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. What another historical election this was. Another one for our history books. Tonight, we are live on Facebook in our group, True Gossip, TRU, capital GOSSIP. And we will be interacting with our viewers. So if you have not invited anyone, do so at this time and start a watch party. We would love and appreciate your support. Okay, let me get right to the introduction of our panelists. Let's welcome Tajuddin Shabazz, the man who brings his knowledge and wisdom. John Kinlaw, our Southern free thinker. Bishop Britt Pleasure, who brings the word. And of course, Maria, who keeps it real. And our co-host and our facilitator, Ramel Royal, who speaks like a poet. And together we are
First Cousins. Well, welcome back to another episode of True Gossip. And as Tanya mentioned, we do have a new president-elect and a new vice president-elect. So congratulations to them. And what a way to kick off with the election. I'm going to start with you, Bishop. The election results. How do you feel about the election results?
I think they're underrated. I think that we focus more on the votes than the colleges that will hold it together. I'm excited about this transition. I hope we talk about that because that's going to be something else. I think that ultimately the votes were phenomenal. Never seen in the 214 years of presidency to have 74 million people vote for one candidate and then 70 vote for another. We're talking about 144 million people that voted. I could talk about that in mathematics, but anyway, that's another whole story. But just to see that, to see this 144 come together and to see that the people had a desire to make a difference, regardless of how much they were saying the polls were being tossed and driven and how they were being cheated and the concept of the votes. I think that the delegates is more important that we get the right ones in the seats, because regardless of the presidency, if the delegates are not lined up with the presidency, it's all for naught. Congratulations to Joe Biden, our president-elect, and of course, our sister in Christ, our sister, AKA, and all that good stuff, Kamala Harris, the vice president. But I want to say this, that they can't do it by themselves. It's going to take us to reinforce what they're trying to implement.
All right, before we get ahead, let's move on, because that could be later on, and I want to get back to you on that. I'm gonna go to Maria. Maria, did the people of America get it right?
Well, the people of America did it right, but the really reason why a lot of people voted is that we all know is to get rid of Trump. I mean, really, everybody was tired of all the rhetoric and all of the racial tension and all the hatred. So that's really what everybody was trying to really go for, is to just get him out, because they were tired of all of that foolishness and confusion that he was, just putting everywhere. So I don't know if everybody's like, a lot of people were, I guess people that's really going to college, that went to college or they're going to college now. And he said that, their tuition were gonna be, like zero. We really didn't look at the policies or what he's really trying to do. We're really only gonna see what he does now that he's in office. We really didn't look to see, what he was just really talking about, putting, making America like, with, getting rid of all the hatred. We really didn't see all, and I really didn't hear and or notice any policies he was going to change or anything, but he was really, focused on getting America, back to, I guess, being able to be together, and not hate each other. That's how I feel.
We got Cristal out there. She's agreeing with you. And that's a good thing. For those who are watching, feel free to chime in, text questions, comments, and we'll try to get to it. Tajudeen, I want to move to you, and I want to piggyback off of what Bishop said, as well as what Maria said. Bishop talked about Donald Trump having 70 million votes. Maria talked about the real reason why it ended this way, because we're trying to get rid of Trump as president. I just want to hear your thoughts on that. I mean, did the people really speak, or what is your thought? Because at the end of the day, although Maria said that we voted for Biden to get rid of Trump, still 70 million people came out and voted for this man.
Mm-hmm. Yes. My opinion on it is, when Obama came in, he was saying change is coming to America. Trump came in, he was saying make America great. So I look at Biden coming in, he's sparking off of hope for healing through all of the things that went on in the 4 years of Trump. So again, that's how I see, we looking at Biden as hope to heal a sin-sick nation.
That's right.
So, that's what I'm banking off of that. And we'll go into some more of the questions. With the other questions, I'll go into the role that's being played here. But I see hope, healing through hope with Biden coming in, because again, but also those 70 million that voted for Trump, see, he's the puppet. We're not concentrating on the strings or the cross up at the top that's moving the puppet, but he's the manifestation of what's on the minds of those 70 million that voted for him. Ignorant as he is, but he's the mouthpiece for those people that there with the voter suppression and all of that stuff. He's the manifestation of what's on the minds of those 70 million. And those people are the ones, again, that affect change also. So he's the mouthpiece, they are the minds. He's just the manifestation of that. Peace.
So Tajudeen, excuse me, before I move on to Tanya, I just want to ask you another question. I usually don't do this, but is President Trump breathing air into that 70 million people, or are the 70 million people breathing air into Trump?
They're breathing it into him.
Okay.
He's the puppet. See, we're concentrating on the puppet dancing, but we're not looking at the strings that move it, or the voice that comes through the puppet.
Okay. Tanya, you had a chance to hear
Thanks for that question.
from Tajudeen.
I didn't hear you. It was frozen.
No, what I'm saying is that you got a chance to hear Tajudeen, Maria, and Bishop speak on the election results. What are your thoughts on the election results?
Well, I think that the results, they got it right. Because of the 4 years of President Trump. His rhetoric, his actions, and the things that he even didn't do. It came to a fact that he was not for the people, it was for himself and for the people that was in his party only. It wasn't for the American people. So I believe that the people, the popular vote, got it right. And the electoral finally got it right. And I think that, Biden don't have everything that I'm looking for, because there were some things that he done in the past that, you know, it made me kind of leery, but I believe that, like Tajudeen said, you know, we got to look forward to the future. We got to look for hope of things, of substance of things that's not seen. So hopefully what we can't see, we can hope for it and eventually it'll come to pass. That's how I'm looking at it.
You know, and before I take it over to Kenlaw, our Southern free thinker, Shantae, she chimed in and she says, and I quote, I believe Biden will bring change and will choose the right people to tackle today's issue. And, you know, and I kind of co-sign what she's saying, where I believe when it comes down to Biden, I always feel there's always the lesser of two evils to begin with. But I do think that Biden will present himself more presidential. He will present himself with leadership qualities. And I think that because of those things, even regardless to what he may have done in the past or said in the past, I think that he will be able to work across the aisle with people because of those reasons.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think so. Before we close this out, Kenlaw, give us your thoughts on the election results.
Just chiming in from what everybody else has shared already. I think Maria's hit it on it now. I think Bishop had touched on it. I think Tajudeen has touched on it as well. I think people were just so willing to just get Trump out without even paying attention to most of what policies have been established by the Biden campaign. I think along with what Ty had mentioned that, he has the better chance of reaching across the aisle. However, I feel like the only way that we have a chance to reach across the aisle depends on what Georgia does in this up and coming election come January, because Mitch McConnell and others and Lady G has already mentioned that they're going to do everything they can to repeat the same thing that they did back during the Obama administration. And we know how that went. And what ultimately happens is you play politics with that and it hurts the president himself.
Yes.
What I think as far as what the American people have done was, I think for the most part, they were looking for a sense of control and something that's much more presidential and getting back to normalcy to a certain degree. What I didn't like was that some of the most recent things that was being campaigned by the Trump administration that was kind of, in a sense, an insult to many voters like myself with this platinum plan. You know, that plan was presented to you several months ago, a couple months ago before election date. Something that important, something that pertinent that you're trying to appeal to the black voters of, you should have went ahead and signed that in action right then on the spot.
Yeah.
You did that in other things to appeal to other people. You wanted to build a whole wall because of the event or other cases that took place with immigration and stuff like that. You know, you wanted to shut down whole countries and shut off other things immediately, just like that, because of certain events that went against your base appeasement. So I think with that, he dropped the ball. He dropped the ball with the coronavirus thing. And people, yet what's scary is that what was pointed out is that 70 million people still voted for this man. And up until now, there's over 200,000 deaths and counting. And we're going back up in the apex of coronavirus cases. So I just don't understand it. I think he has put his stamp on the political field. He will be a voice to be reckoned with, and he has a following. It's almost cult-like, but he has an actual following now. I think you will not hear the last of Trump. He will continue to campaign and host these rallies, and you'll see it on a reality TV show going forward. And unfortunately, this can possibly be the turning of the base of the Republican Party. With that all being said, with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, I felt like it was a real opportunity to make a real change by electing a female in office of that magnitude. So I am happy for that, if anything else, regardless of what color.
I agree.
And lastly, with that being said, yes, we voted. Yes, we put it together. But I really feel like this is one of the very, I would say, few opportunities that they have left before the tide changes as far as how voters vote, okay, in regards to this going forward. So they definitely got the pressure on them for the next 4 years.
And speaking of the word vote, Kenlaw, and I'm going to toss it to Tanya on this. Shantae, again, who's following and watching, shout out to everyone who's watching. We appreciate you all. she said we're counting on Georgia, you know, because we do have 2 runoffs that's going to take place in January. And I'm a firm believer that a lot of the Democratic Party, the voters, I should say, especially people that are Black, tend to only come out president, governor, and mayor races.
Mayor.
You know, and I like to hear from you all, start with Tanya. Who do you think is going to come out in January in Georgia? Is that 70 million people that voted for Trump going to come out and vote in this runoff? Or they only came out because he was the rock star that he was? And can Stacey Abrams and her staff and the rest of the people that got the 74 million people out there, but primarily the people that came out in Georgia, will she be able to get them back out so that this way, perhaps the Democrat Party, or Biden and Harris, I should say, will be able to get those 2 seats? Let's start with you, Tanya. What do you think?
Listen, I think Stacey Abrams was awesome. She did something that no other Democratic Party could have done. And to say that, I believe because of that momentum, it's going to continue on into January. And not just for the Democratic Party, but for Donald Trump too. You know, the Republican Party, they're going to come out because they're mad as hell that he didn't win this presidential second term. So I believe that with Stacey Abrams and her crew and the Black people that came out this last time and voted and had their voices heard, they're going to come out in January and they're going to make a tidal wave and they're going to make something happen. And I believe that we might be able to get those 2 seats. I believe. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm on Joe Biden on hope.
Okay, Tajudeen, what are our chances, or what should I should say, what are the chances of Biden and Harris administration getting those seats in Georgia?
I think it's favorable. Again, like Sister said, if we play off of that momentum that led about the presidential election, we can piggyback off of that, and I think she has a good chance of getting those 2 seats. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Bishop, your thoughts?
I think that we will come out and vote, and others will come out and vote because they see the significance of what needs to change. It's detrimental. People see it. Even the Trumplicans, those ventriloquists that was taking that dummy Donald, just using him as a tool, realize how much they're going to need the Democratic Party now, because it's no longer in his hands. So now the Georgianians are going to come out, because first of all, I believe that Stacey Abrams is going to become the Secretary of State. I pray that she does. But they're going to come out. They're going to come out because we have no other choice. We started the race, and for those who's heard the sermon yesterday, we talked about running the race. And in running the race, you can't stop. And people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're tired of this this Republican Party that we've had here for 4 years, and they know we have to clean it up. So people will come out and vote. I believe that 74 million people that came out for Biden to vote will come out and vote in their communities to get the Democrat Party to become the House of Representatives, that we can run the Senate and get things moving the way we need to.
Kinlaw, piggybacking off of this theme that yes, the Democrat has a strong chance. Do you think having a date January 5th after Christmas, a couple of days after New Year's, do you think that might have an effect on the voting? Would another date be better? I mean, your thoughts on that?
I mean, it is what it is. But if you focus on the task in hand, then it should. But very, very possible with the coronavirus thing and hot states like Georgia, who's been on lockdown like it has been, Atlanta being the party city that it is. You got some major holidays coming up. You got some New Year's Eves coming up. And, you know, that tends to be a distraction. And right now, the underdog has everything to fight for, while the person on top tends to be relaxed. So yes, I'm very hopeful that they do stay focused, and it's going to take the help of Mayor Keisha Bottoms, Stacey Abrams, other local celebrities like Killer Mike and T.I., and a few others that are somewhat took on this role of being activists in the community. And it's really going to take a collective effort to make sure that we keep people focused on the game plan there. I'm telling you right now, with Governor Kemp, and we all know how that runoff took place between him and Stacey Abrams, there's no telling what limits they will go through to try to make sure that salt is in the game when it comes to these elections. He is in line with both sitting senators that are currently running right now. And I'm pretty sure they're already trying to fire the Secretary of State for the state of Georgia. They're already trying to have him fired because they felt like he mismanaged how the votes were counted and how they were handled.
Oh yeah.
How do you mismanage that? The people
Yeah.
voted, you count the votes.
You count the votes.
So
I thought
right there
somebody
lets me
snuffed
know
on 53
they have
votes.
intentions, just like with the firing of the Secretary of State, the person in the Trump administration. They have a game plan, and they're going to stay focused on that until they get what they want. So it's going to be very important. It's going to be a long shot, but it's very important. I hope that we don't get caught up in the distractions. There could be another police interaction that's gone bad between now and then. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes I don't think that these things are by default in some cases. These can be major distractions, but
it could be major distractions.
Yeah.
Hey, I had Christelle take a little shot at me. She said, people will be sober by the 5th, Ramel. Maria, briefly, do you think that the majority of the voters in Georgia for the Democratic Party will turn out greater than the Republican Party? Quickly, your thoughts.
First of all, I want to say shame on you, Georgia, for sneaking those 53 votes in. Not 5,300, not 500, not 500,300, but you snuck them 53 votes in and made Biden president.
53 votes.
But I really,
Trump going for that, right?
I don't know what's the magic number is 53. I don't know why he picked that number, but I don't know. But I really think that if everyone in Georgia keeps that enthusiasm going on, I believe if everybody just keeps everybody going, I believe the majority, everybody's gonna come out and vote.
Let's just hope so. Let's just hope so, because that would be a big win. That would be the first big win for the Biden-Harris administration.
Yeah.
We're gonna move along, and I'm gonna start this off with Tanya. Today, the Biden-Harris administration has already announced a coronavirus task force.
Right.
So what's next for the Biden-Harris administration, Tanya? I mean, they've already picked that. What's next for them?
They need for Donald Trump to concede and give them that money so they can start building their team. Without Donald Trump conceding and giving them the money that they need so they can start building their team, they can't even go any further. It's going to be a fight. So I don't even know what's going to be next. The first thing they did was the task force, which was a great thing. But after that, without the last administration saying, hey, you know what? Y'all won. We appreciate the fight, but we're going to go ahead and step down. We're going to give you the money that you need so you can start your administration and move forward. Without that, I don't know what's going to be next. But I know that they got a plan, but until the last administration step down, we're not going to be able to know what the plan is because we got to get through that first. So what's going to happen is we got to go through all these litigations and lawsuits and frivolous crap that's happening with this last administration so we can get to what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris has for us. Until then, we're not going to know what's in store.
Maria,
I'd like to get in on that.
Maria, you had your hand up.
You have to put your hand up. I just want you to know that they put it in everybody's mind that he has to concede. There is nowhere it's written that he has to concede. They can just go in there and throw his ass out if they want to. But they're trying
but you know they're not going to do that.
I know that's why I said they're trying to be nice about it and they're trying to be classy about it. But I just want everybody to know that there is nowhere written that he has to concede. If they say he lost, he lost. If I don't know, I was watching a news channel and they had some type of guy that was in charge of the army or something. I don't know, but he said that's not his job to do, you know, but if he has to do it, he'll go in there, he'll get him out. I mean, if he don't want to leave, I mean, that's on his embarrassment. I mean, who wants to be? Yeah.
So you think they're going to drag him out like we seen all the memes happening on Facebook?
Yeah. It just may happen.
He doesn't have to concede.
Before we move on to Bishop, just want to acknowledge Carlos. He said the next thing they need to do is make sure that the White House is fumigated properly.
Yeah.
You may need some bug detectors. You know what I mean? Bishop, what's next for the Biden-Harris team?
I think the Biden-Harris team, the first thing they need to do is burn the White House down.
Thank you. And start all over and paint it black. Paint it black.
Make it the Black House.
Paint it black. Thank you, Bill.
But I feel somewhat to that degree because that demonic force that's in there, we got to take the imam, the priest, the rabbi. Everybody got to go up in there to get rid of them demons.
I need to go up in there.
Everybody, anything that know God need to go up in there because he did not know God. I can't say what he didn't know, but it appeared that he didn't have the relationship that we have with God. For the Biden and Harris administration, I think that first of all, Tiny was talking about he needs to let go of that money. No, the Democratic Party needs to get up off their butt and use some of their money to get things started until they can get that money.
But that's not how it works.
The Democrat Party has money.
That's not how it works.
It doesn't matter. You got to make it.
Holding on to
Excuse me. You said that you're supposed to raise your hand, leader. You. I'm saying that.
Never said that, but Ramel did. I ain't got to.
No, but serious. I'm saying that. Listen, I'm gonna use the church, and I'm gonna run this parallel to this. I'm a pastor of a church. Whether y'all come up with the rent money or not, I gotta pay the rent. So whether they come up with the money or not, pay the piper. Get the Democrat Party money and do what you gotta do to get things started. Bottom line.
Hey,
and then with that,
briefly, Tanya, because I want to get to Tajadeen.
And you must be right, Bishop, because they said that Biden and Harris did raise extra money just in case for a time just like this. So they got money that they can use from their campaign to be able to start their administration. So good point.
And they're going to use some of that.
Instead of doing what the average person, the average party does, they save the money and keep it in their pocket.
Well, they're going to use a lot of that money to get behind Warnock and Oscar.
Give us some too,
Georgia. They're going to get behind that. Tajadeen, again, today, Biden and Harris administration announced a Corona task force. And so what's next for them?
Again, putting their ducks in a row, setting up a team, because again, when you, in the entertainment thing, like comedy, when somebody has messed up and bombed on stage, now you got to come back to outdo what they messed up on. And that's the easy part. But again, they got to put together a nice plan to come in there. After the Corona task force, again, we got to get that healthcare thing back into place. You know, then we got to deal with the racial unrest that's in here. And again, like I said from the first question, we have to go use that healing through hope. And that's what should be their motto or the theme that they should use with all of this. Again, for 4 years, they got to clean up the mess that an idiot did in the 4 years prior to that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and I think that's what they should get, is put those key players in place to do that, to affect the change that they promised in the leading up in the campaign and everything. So that's how I see that.
Maria, before I get to you, I want to get to Kinlaw because he hasn't had a chance to comment. What's next for the Biden-Harris administration team, Kinlaw?
So I think I like the direction that he's going in. He's made it his objective to attack and address the coronavirus pandemic that we're dealing with. And I like the fact that I think it's like 8 members that he has. Each one of them had doctor in front of their names, which looks like they are fit to do whatever is needed to take care of the problem. The next thing is, and this could go against most ideas or whatever, but I think he's going to also extend the stimulus package. I think the only way that you can increase the economy is if you got to push money into it so people can go out and be consumers again and get the economy jumping again. So I think the stimulus, I mean, you know, it is what it is. You got to spend money to make money, and you know, it's the haves and the have-nots. You know, so it's a game. So they're going to push out those checks. Christmas is coming up, or Christmas would have been unpassed by now, but you know, you got spring and other things that is coming up shortly, Memorial weekends, those checks going to come into play. Next thing will be to get in contact with the Ice Cubes and some of the other people who want to pitch these ideas about pushing capital into certain communities. I think now is the time to, with the Black Lives Matter movement, with some of the political and social addressings that we've been having over the years, it's time to start making the Democratic Party, you know, bite the bullet on certain issues. And if they continue to want to have the Black turnout vote, if they continue to want to have these big votes coming, they need to start giving back to the main primary reason of why they continue to win their elections. So he's going to have to really focus in on how can we control that wage gap or help to close that wage gap that has been pertinent to certain communities for decades going forward. So that's what I think.
Now, I know Maria had a hand up first, and Bishop, he got his hand up, but both Tajadeen and Kinlaw started to get into what should they do next, and you know, some of the things that they need to attack with their administration. But I want to kick off this next question, and then I'm gonna toss it to Maria, and then we go to Bishop. But where should the Biden-Harris administration start first? And me personally, I think addressing the coronavirus is the way to go. If we looked at Biden's campaign trail, all he talked about is, this is not about red states, blue states, this is about the United States. He talked about he's going to be the president, not just for the people who voted for me, but for all people in this country. And if there's one area that really affects everybody, it is the coronavirus. And I believe if he could get if him and Harris administration, Biden-Harris administration can get some kind of handle or grip on this coronavirus, where we see numbers starting to decline and dip and decrease, I believe he will get the complete confidence of all Americans. Because there's not one American that has not been affected by the coronavirus. Not one. We've all been affected, whether it's family members, friends, loss of jobs, slow down on the job, or whatever the case might be. We've all been affected by it. So I believe that's the way to go. If he gets that, he gets the confidence of the people, and then I believe it makes it easier for him and the Harris administration to tackle the next project, whether that is social justice, police reform, the economy, as Kinlaw mentioned, sitting down with the Ice Cubes of the world. So I'm going to go to Maria. She had her hands up. You can address the question or speak on what you wanted to say.
Well, I'm like really going beyond whatever everybody is saying, but what I'm talking about is that when Biden and Harris won, didn't everybody breathe like a sigh of relief? Wasn't everybody happy, whatever, cheering and dancing in the streets and, doing the cha-cha slide in Brooklyn and doing the waltz in Manhattan, whatever. Everybody was happy. I just want to know who has the key to them cages. Them kids need to be happy. Free them kids that's locked up in them cages that's what I'm saying first. That's what they need. Them kids been locked up longer than we've been dealing with this coronavirus.
That's right.
Those kids been locked up in them cages and don't even probably know about any type of love or anything. First of all, they need to free them kids. They need to free them kids, and they need to get them kids out of them colonizers' houses, the ones that they done lost track of, because we know them Republicans done took 4 or 5 of them in for tax cuts or whatever. They done so-called lost track of them. I know where they at. They cleaning somebody out, taking care of somebody's kids, but they don't think that we ain't thinking beyond that, but I think of that. But the first thing they need to do is those kids want to be happy too, like freedom kids. Somebody need to unlock that door and let them kids out. That's
Maria, I felt strongly about addressing the COVID-19, and I actually want to thank you for reminding us about the children that often forgotten, and the only time they're thought about is when they're mentioned. And they deserve to be free. And I commend you for thinking outside the box. And that wasn't far-fetched at all. That was actually, I felt that, and I thought it was sincere. Bishop, you want to
Yes.
let us know what you think they should start first?
I think that there's so many firsts. There's just so many firsts. I mean, social justice, the children, the COVID, the segregation, the alienation. There's just so much that they have to do. But I think they need to get a broom and sweep that White House out. That's what they got to do, get a broom. And when I say get a broom, get a strategic plan together that none of us could possibly imagine. Because if we could think of it, then it ain't good enough. It's got to be beyond our thoughts. It has to be beyond our thoughts. I mean, for Maria to say those children, that just puts something right in my stomach. I think that I heard something about education before. Well, Dr. Jill Biden is an educator. So she's the right person to target that for this country. Kamala Harris is well educated. In fact, she's just as educated as Michelle Obama. So, and when you look at all these African American and Latino and Filipinos, these women that's in this nucleus here, I think that he should put a women's cabinet together. Because
I agree with that. I think he should have a predominant women's cabinet. Now, Aunt Tiny, who faithfully watches us, and she chimed in, and I agree with her. And it's funny, Maria brings up the children. We don't think of the children until they're brought up. But in the debate, Biden made emphasis about the children. Yeah. And he discussed that. So Aunt Tiny did bring that up, and that's a good point. And again, I want to acknowledge Maria for bringing that up. I want to go to Kinlaw on this. Kinlaw, you tell us, you started to get into it, but where do you think they should start first? Is the coronavirus the place to start? Because that's the initial move.
Yes, I think it is.
I mean, I think unilaterally, all of us can say coronavirus and be done with it. I mean, I think that goes without saying, but I'm gonna go ahead into another direction. I'm looking forward to Kamala Harris spearheading police reform and prison reform. I'm looking for Kamala Harris to put together a comprehensive game plan to put back in force community policing. You know, she was a prosecutor and a heck of a doggone prosecutor. She was an attorney general for the state of California. I mean, she's been in that side. She's been in that industry to see how things operate firsthand. She was a part of it. And most people would view that as though, well, she was the enemy. She locked up so many people. No, she was good at her job. She was a prosecutor. She can't be a prosecutor and act like a defense attorney, right?
Yeah.
George Zimmerman, right? Guilty as all out. However, he got an attorney whose job was to do everything he could to defend his client. Regardless if his own attorney felt like, yeah, he was guilty, but it was my job to use the law to my advantage to showcase, to help my client. And so we will look at prosecutors as the enemy, but it's good to have them on your team to kind of give you an insight of this is how things work. So I think with her experience, I really look for her to really, if possible, if she can tag along with Republicans like Tim Scott, who has been dubbed the chosen one to tackle police reform and other things like that, to really make a comprehensive effort to change the culture of policing and civilian lives and how they're affected day in and day out, you know, nationwide. I think there needs to be an overhaul in how that is taking place. And I think that with her and whoever they choose as the attorney general, I think that could really work out just as effectively as the fix on the coronavirus.
And that's a valid point. And I want to move to Tanya on this. You know, I believe what Ken Law said is a valid point. We watched Trump appointed Vice President Pence head of the Corona Task Force. So giving the Vice President an assignment is not out of the realm. And I think that's might be an incredible assignment for her. But do you think that's something, Tanya, that should be focused first? Should it be coronavirus or should it be something else? Your thoughts?
I believe that coronavirus 19, aka COVID-19, or coronavirus, aka COVID-19, should be the main focus. Because without that coming to the forefront and having it under control, you can't move forward in anything else. You are stuck where you are because you can't even jumpstart the economy. Because right now, where I am in Maryland, we are back in Maryland, Baltimore City, we are right back to 25% capacity of opening up again. We were open up 75%. Now we had to go back to 25% because we are 5% above the CDC recommendation of saying, you know, we can have these places open and we can congregate amongst one another, you know, practicing the social distancing and mask wearing. But without combating that, you're not going to be able to open up schools properly. You're not going to be open up business properly. The economy, it may be going up now, but the economy is going to go back down. People are going to have to close up. Until that vaccine is out here, I'm not saying I'm going to take it, I'm just saying. But until that vaccine is out there and people are taking it and they are making some type of decline in this virus, where these states are have it under control, because none of the states have it under control. Nobody. So until COVID-19 is under control, then we can move on to opening up schools, opening up businesses, opening up the economy the way it's supposed to be. Until then, COVID-19 is the main focus until, you know, we get that under control.
And I lean towards you. Before I get to you, Ken Law, I know you have a question. I like to get Tajuddin's thought. on what should they concentrate on first. We've heard quite a few options. I just want to hear from you. What do you think they should work on first?
Yes, sir. I think that they should first address the nation as that addressing it that COVID-19 was an issue. Trump made it like he swept it under the rug that it wasn't. So then that's when the panic struck out when
Education.
they realized that it was an issue.
Educate them.
So he would have to again put the country at ease that yeah, we tackling this. You know, and again, like someone else has said, we got to get that under control first. At least put the people's mind at ease to move forward from that.
Right.
You know, and I'm and can I speak for a second? If Trump is a spokesperson for most of the redneck and the ignorant white folks out there, he's or incomprehensible that in 4 years from now we can come up with a candidate that speaks for our agenda and our issues. If they could come up with a Trump, the mind, the black mind is magnificent. We can come up with a candidate that speaks for our issues and our agenda. And then, does anybody know a good lawyer, a divorce lawyer for Trump's wife? Because I think she about to kick him to the curb.
Oh, she's gonna get all that money. She gonna
Hey,
get all that money.
before we move on, Kinlaw, a quick thought on this,
I forgot
and
about
so we can get to the next topic. Quick thought.
To your point and to Tanya's point, the issue with the coronavirus thing is that it's already been placed in people's mind that this is not a serious issue. I work every day where I work at. You have people that come in that's like, oh man, that stuff ain't for real. That stuff ain't legit. I mean, no mask, no nothing. You see at the football games, no mask, no nothing. You see, I see people, are you sure? Because that, I have no problem. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like if you don't make it a state law or a local law or something where it requires some type of consequence, then you're going to have the masses continue to do these regular reckless activities. When you had an administration that held social open events, I mean, no mask, no nothing, close quarters, everything, and 70 people still voted for that guy. That means you got 70 million people that are out there that are just as reckless as the administration in the White House. You see what I'm saying? And this is the reason why it continues to perpetuate the
way
nation that it does now.
It does.
All right. Listen, this has got to be fun. I know this is going to be fun, and I'm going to start with Bishop on this one here. And Bishop, what's next for Trump?
Trump out, they drag him out the White House. If I can come, I help drag him.
Listen.
No, serious. I want Letitia James to be standing at the door to lock him up and send him to jail for all the crookedness that he has caused, all the corruption that he is. He's a liar and a thief and the father of the devil. He is the most horriblest thing I've ever seen in my life. I hope they lock him up with big chain balls on him, make him work for the chain gang, make him dig holes, make him move railroads, put him through underground slavery. He deserves anything he gets. But I hope Letitia James is waiting for him because she's been waiting for him. And I'm going to be right there. I'm going to be cheering her on. Every move she make, I'm going to be glory, glory. I'm going to give God praise for everything she do because he deserves it. That's what I'm excited. Go to jail. Go to jail. Go directly to jail. Do not get past go. Do not collect $200. Go to jail.
Moments
Take
ago.
all his money too.
Moments ago.
His wife, his kids, and all the rest of that little entourage.
All of them,
all of them go to jail. Throw them all in hell. I mean in jail.
All of them.
Hey, moments ago, Christelle had text moments ago that she had heard, and I've also heard about this too, that he has plans to open up a news network. So
he's supposed to open up Fox.
Here's what's happening. From what I understand, he's upset with Fox. And he may be positioning himself to create a network that might rival Fox.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I'm going to tell you, there's a chance that he might get arrested.
No, he's
there's a
going to get
chance-
arrested.
There's a chance he may not. All right.
He's going to get arrested.
But his popularity could not have been any higher. So I believe he's going to have options. Tanya, what do you think is next for Trump?
I'm with you, Ramel. He's the reality king. He knows how to grab the people by the. He knows how to do that. Listen, and he knows how to get you to think that what he's saying is right. And I'm talking about all of us because I don't think what he's saying is right. But he knows how to grab the attention of an audience. He knows how to make them feel what he's saying is okay. So I believe that he will get that network. He will have, and listen, somebody gonna pick him up because they know he's gonna make money. They're gonna.
Well, he don't have to be picked up. He's gonna create his own network.
Well, you know what? He's gonna create his own. It's gonna be, like you said, it's gonna be a rival against Fox because he's mad that Fox went against him. And it's gonna be, listen, trust me, it's gonna be just like, what was that show that he did?
The Apprentice.
Oh yeah, The Apprentice. I used to love that show before he became president. You know what I'm saying? But and I watched it.
I've never seen it.
Because it was interesting, and he know how to captivate an audience, and he's gonna do exactly that.
Well, you know, the thing is, and you know, I'm gonna make a reference here. When we was kids, I used to love New Edition, and Ralph was the best singer.
Oh.
But Bobby Brown had the best success because he was the entertainer.
Yes.
And that's what he is. He's an entertainer. And he lives by this one principle, well, many principles, but he also lives by one of this principle as well.
Deception.
We've heard this before. There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Nope.
As long as he's tweeting and he's in the media, he's building his brand.
Yeah, he know what he's doing.
He's building his brand. Yeah. His popularity was no greater than President Obama, but because he stayed coming at you, tweeting 4 a.m, 2 a.m, somebody do this, he got to top it, or just come with something. Yeah, he just makes himself relevant, whether it's good, bad, wrong, or right, whether you care or not. He makes himself relevant, and because of that, yeah, he's gonna have options. Kinlaw, what's next for Trump?
Kinlaw was telling me now.
What's next for Trump?
Listen, he's going to have his hands full for the next couple of years. He has a lawsuit for tax evasions and stuff like that up in New York City. So that DA up there is waiting for him.
Letitia coming for him.
I think with the Mueller report, he did what he did to set up an investigation going forward after he leaves office, because no Senate president has been prosecuted or whatnot. Okay, if Richard Nixon is not in jail and rotting in prison, then no president is going to go to prison. I think he's going to be exposed for a lot of his corruption. You know what I'm saying? But he's not going to face any jail or prison time. I just think that they're just going to diminish his name and his administration enough to which he's not going to be recognized as great as many people might have thought he was. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like you got the upper hand. All of us have been wronged by somebody, right? And we did just enough just to kind of embarrass them, but we didn't want to just destroy them. You see what I'm saying? With your point, Ramel, Trump he's a party now. It's the party of Trump. I think he has significantly hurt the Republican base. And the reason why that Joe Biden even won is because a lot of traditional Republicans voted for him. So we have a third party now. Don't get it twisted. A lot of people are now going to align with Trump going forward. You know what I'm saying? and they're going to like the Mitt Romneys and all those guys and the McCains. They just disrespected them, period. But they championed them to be legitimate candidates. So we're facing three parties now: the party of Trump, the GOP, and the lack thereof, and then you have the Democratic Party. You know,
it's funny you say that, Ken Law. It's funny you say that because I personally believe that we probably saw more Republican voters vote Democrat and Democrat voters voted Republican.
Right.
And I believe the young children of voters crossed over parties more so of the Republican parents. Their younger children voted Democrat than any Democrat's young children vote Republican. So your point is valid. Before I get to Bishop, because he's had his hand up for a while, I want to get Tajuddin's thoughts on this, and then I'll get back to you, Bishop. I'll get back to you, but I want to hear from Tajuddin. What's next?
Taj.
Hey, they call him a president, but he's never said he's a businessman. So that's what he does. That's what he entertains. So you can't fault him for what he is. So he's out business as usual. He's not going to take it no other political thing like that. That was just a stunt. He wanted to do, I can run for president and make it. He did
never
that.
expected
So
to
now
win.
it's on. So now it's business as usual. Do the network, do whatever, you know. But that's what he does. What it say? Satan says, I didn't ask them. I put it out there. They came to me. So that's what he does.
right.
So again,
That's right.
I want to thank him for giving me the best comedy sitcom for 4 years. And for these next, 60-something years, 70 days, just keep doing what you're doing, Trump. Because I'm giggling my ass off at what he do. You know? You know, so thank you, Mr. Trump.
Bishop, go ahead. Make quickly, because Tanya got something to say too.
Just want to piggyback off of Taj's name real quick. Satan. Satan. Y'all said what? He has always used the tool of Satan, deception. And from deception comes discouragement, disappointment, disagreement, discontentment. All that comes with it. And President Trump can go to jail if somebody as phenomenal as Bill Cosby, the Black American, fatherly image man, can go to jail because of supposedly sleeping with some women. Then why can't Trump go to jail for embezzlement, for stealing, from being unrighteous? Trump wanted, I've been praying for Trump to go to jail. Trump needs to go to jail because a point has to be proven that money can't buy you freedom. That's what has to be proven.
Tanya, you wanted to comment on something?
I'm gonna tell you why he ain't going to jail, Bishop. Because he ain't a brown or black man. That's why. Bill Cosby had a lot of money, but because he was a brown man, he went to prison, and that's just the bottom line. And I'm gonna
That's the injustice of America.
But I wanted to say this, Ramel. On Tiny said, which everybody needs to know, is Britt Noble Miller on Facebook. She said, I think somewhere down the line, he's going to go crazy. She thinks Donald Trump is going to go crazy.
Well,
what do you think about that?
When he loses his fame.
Here's the thing. I don't think he's gonna go crazy. I think he does a good job acting crazy. I think he does a great job acting crazy, you know, and everything that he does is, it's like every step he makes is on a stage.
Yeah, you quiet.
Nothing he does is just normal. He does it with a purpose. Everything's a performance with him. So he might want to wind up in a nut house, but I don't think that's where he's headed. I just think that everything he does is based on a performance. Before we close out, you know, with the Biden-Harris administration becoming the president-elect and the president-elect and vice president-elect, we actually saw history in so many ways. We saw the first Black person as vice president. We saw the first woman as president, vice president. And, you know, we can't forget this either. We're going to have, I don't know what you call him, second man, second dude, second guy. I don't know what you call
Right.
Harris's husband, but at the end of the day, that's history as well.
And it's
So,
right.
with that said, I like to kick off, and we'll close with Tanya on this, but I like to kick off that this is a very, very historical moment for young daughters out there in America today, young little girls. You know, we've been talking about equality, especially in the workforce, equality with equal pay, just women equality and women being seen equally to men, and you know, and especially Black women as well. And to have a woman with this position, it just gives something else for our daughters and granddaughters, nieces, and you know, neighbors, little daughters, just to strive for. Because it's something that I could tell you when I was in grade school, I never thought I would see a Black man as president. I never thought I would see a Black woman president or vice president. And all women. And I still don't know if we will see a woman as president unless Biden steps down 2 years and hand it over to Ms. Harris. But because I don't know if some Americans are ready to let a woman lead. But for me, this is a moment to celebrate. And I just hope that some of the things that we talked about, I just hope that Biden and Harris can fulfill some of these things, because at the end of the day, we mentioned some good things for them to tackle, but I just hope that they're able to fulfill it so that she'll have an opportunity to run for president when Biden decides not to run or step down, because then it will really be historical. And I hope that Biden takes Harris under his wing and don't just leave her behind, have her follow him and work alongside him, so that this way she's being seen, she's involved, she's being conditioned, nurtured, and prepared for the next step, because it would really be historical to see her become president. So we're going to close with Tanya, but we're going to go around the horn. I'll start with Kinlaw, our Southern free thinker, and we want to keep this kind of brief. We've been at this for a minute.
Yo, so I think Kamala Harris is the president of the United States now. You know, honestly, I mean, who's the smartest person in the room when you put her in that room with those people? She is. I think like
say that, brother.
That's a hand clap right there. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so I think she's the president right now. It's like, for example, we're all Black people, but we want to get money from a certain clientele. Guess what type of people we're going to employ? You feel what I'm saying? Vice versa. Biden is the face for the United States, but who's running things behind the scenes? She's the head, whatever, in charge. You can fill in whatever acronyms you want to do that, okay? He's going to lean on her. Hey, what do you think? Just like we all have wives and things of that nature. Guess what? We might come across as though we're making all the best decisions, but we know that our spouses is probably 95% of what is driving us to make the decisions that we make.
True
As
indeed.
men.
True
What I'm
indeed.
saying? So I really feel like Biden's like, listen, what do you think? Because she's more connected, she's more modernized. You know what I'm saying? This man is 80 years old. She is the heartbeat right now. You see what I'm saying?
And she came out in a white pantsuit with Mary J. Blige on.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? And the same thing with Barack Obama. He wanted someone who's been in the game for a minute, that wasn't going to outshine him, but was going to be humble enough to show him the ropes and help him understand how to operate in DC. You see what I'm saying? So he picked up Biden. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing, except for Kamala, she's going to be running things. Kamala's the president of the United States.
Kinlaw, the Southern free thinker, with the mic dropper. That was the mic dropper of the night. Ooh. We're going to go to Tajuddin next.
Ooh. Well, that's a tough act to follow. But like piggybacking off of Kinlaw, as you say that on an island full of blind people, the person with one eye is king or queen. So again, Kamala is in charge. Just like if you're a husband and wife, you the head of the household, but the wife is the manager. She makes sure everything, the bills get paid. You the breadwinner. But again, like you said, she's already the president. Good point, Kinlaw.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's go to Maria. Your thoughts.
Shoot, I didn't even know I was still here. I ain't say nothing since Free the Children. I forgot. Shoot, I didn't think I was a part of the panel. All I can say is
Did you go to the restroom? Did you step away?
The president so long, I didn't know what was going on. I'm just gonna say I agree with everybody because I'm lost. Because I was just like this the whole time. I was like this. I did a little dances. I'm waiting to be called on. I don't know what's going on. All I know is Brent said that they need to sweep the White House, sweep it with some sage. It's only $10. That's all you need. Okay, that's all I got to say. Go ahead.
Hey, comment on Kamala being the vice president.
Next Sunday, maybe they'll ask me some questions.
What was you on timeout?
Please ask her a question.
No, it's too late now. The show is over. I'll see y'all next Sunday, people.
Should have raised your hand.
Bishop, your thoughts on Kamala?
I can't wait to hear them say, Madam Vice President.
No, but you know what? I believe that Biden has a plan and he's putting everything in place. I believe that because he know he ain't gonna do another 4 years. So he just holding the spot for her. Okay, go ahead now. I done answered the question, y'all. I got to answer.
Thank you, Madam Maria.
I had to answer the question. I had to butt in. I had to butt in.
Let me tell you this.
Hey, we're gonna get her on the ticket for Secretary of Entertainment. I want Donald Trump to call her husband master. What?
I want Donald Trump to call Kamala Harris's husband master.
Where'd that come from?
No. You don't want her to call him master.
Where'd that come from?
Bishop trying to get us on the show.
I'm only joking.
Bishop trying to get us on the show.
Hey, master.
No, master. Not master.
Maria, they trying to get their spin off.
Serious.
Let's get back to the question.
No, but serious.
They're trying to get their spin off.
I think that Ken Moore had a great point.
He did.
Kamala Harris is our president anyway.
Yeah.
Despite Obama was our president. Although he was the president of the United States, we felt he was our president. We cherished him because of who he is.
Yeah.
And not just who he is, but the values he brought to the table. And you're absolutely right. Where Obama came in, Biden kind of cultured him and nurtured him to understand the ropes, even though he had been in the set for a while. I don't think, first of all, Biden's 78 years old. You know, the Cardinals promised us 3 scores and 10. So he over the limit already, all right?
Listen.
So God knows the day after the swearing in what may happen. Just being for real. So Kamala Harris is in a position right now that anything can go, that she could be the president. But meantime, between time, getting back to Ramel, as long as she's not hitting in the cut where it looks like she's doing nothing, if he does make the 4 years, which would be 82 years old, because I'm doing mathematics here.
He ain't
make it to 82 years old. Shut up, girl. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. But if the Lord tarries and he makes it to 82 years old, and Kamala Harris has showed her integrity, her potential to be the greatest leader in the world, not only will she have the minority supporters, but she'll have women supporters all over the world, especially with Jill Biden being an educator supporting her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then this whole plateau of all these powerful black women, Letitia James and Stacey Adams and all of Stacey Abrams and all of with all those women.
Stacey
Stacey
Adams.
Adams. I'm Abrams. I like those Stacey Adams shoes. So I thought I gotta mix my shoes.
Alright, well,
But I'm just saying, but really, but all jokes aside, I think that Madam Vice President Kamala Harris is exact. Now, what they're gonna call her husband, Ramel, I don't know. I've been sitting here thinking, all I can say is master.
second bro.
I
But,
know one thing, he got jungle fever, because them kids don't look white. Them kids,
Maria's back.
There was a reason why she was scared.
Them ain't no, them babies ain't white.
Listen.
that's what I said. He got some
Them
jungle
babies Oreos
fever.
with spice.
We're gonna hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay, yes, sir.
We're gonna allow Tanya to close us out on this and then close the show. But before she give her answer, I once again very thought out and thorough show. I appreciate you guys and your words of wisdom. I think we nailed it as a team. But we're gonna allow Tanya to answer this last question, and from there she can just close us out. But great job as a team. We really brought it tonight.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say this. I'm with Kim Law. She's already the president of the United States of America because after the 4 years, he's gonna give the reins over to her. I'm with what Shabazz said. You know, behind every great man, there's a great woman who has great management skills. You know, and you know, and that's just number one. I have no idea what Maria was talking about.
I didn't get to say nothing. All I said was free the children. Free the children. Ain't nothing hard. Look, it don't take much to understand. Free the children.
Was talking about. But the bishop brought the word, and Maria kept it real. This is True Gossip, where gossip meets truth. We are here every Sunday. We're going to be live. We want you to participate. And if you can't catch us on the live, catch us on the other side of the clock. It's going to be posted every Tuesday or Wednesday night. You can catch us on Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, iTunes, and just follow us on True Gossip with Gossip Meets True. This is Tommy, your host, with Ramel, and guess what? We are what?
First cousins. Peace and blessings.
Y'all gotta put me in the first cousins group here, okay? First cousins.
From the house to the street, where gossip meets true, true gossip.